50. Is there like a 50 theme? Like what's a
50
Yeah, I don't
in
know.
general, or just like for us?
50 Cent. We can play some 50.
That's true.
Go.
It is our
It's our
birthday.
birthday.
It is our birthday.
Oh man! Wow. Do you think we can get the rights,
Dude? Wait,
I'll
you've seen Happy Death Day, right?
Yeah.
Like in
Oh,
the trailer,
Tariq, you gotta see Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good, but in the trailer, like her ringtone like wakes her up every day. It's like the Groundhog thing, and it's like in the club, 50 Cent.
That's funny.
But
That's
then
right.
you see the movie, and they did not get the rights. It's just this like corny, like, oh, it's your birthday.
That's
So bad.
So they just paid for it for the trailer.
For the
That's really
trailer.
funny. Oh,
And you
man.
only hear it about 1,000 times in the movie.
They probably realized how expensive that was going to be if they played it
That is
every time.
That's probably like the only song you could do to like make it like it has to be like a birthday motif and an actual song that somebody would listen to on the regular. It's like the only
Also,
song you
we
could
all,
do.
like we all do, we change our ringtone on our birthday to a birthday song, of course.
Yeah, of course. Of course we all do. Do you think it was a ringtone? Maybe it was a specific alarm she set every morning.
Wasn't it? I feel like it was like her dad calling or something.
Oh, you're right. It totally was.
That track, my grandfather also really loved that song. So that track.
There you go.
That's some
So
shit
the
I
night
do.
before your birthday, you change it in case someone calls you in the morning.
Just
You
a
gotta
reminder.
be prepared.
Oh,
And so that if
man.
anyone accidentally hears your ringtone, they'll know it's your birthday.
That's true. So, hey, is this somebody's birthday in here? I think I hear 50 Cent.
I'd honestly be like, whoa, you have a ringtone? That's crazy.
Right.
Was
Your
this
phone is not on
2009? What's
silent.
happening?
Yeah. Happy Death Day is a good movie though. Check it out.
is a
And
good
the second
movie.
one's also good. They're
Happy
nuts.
Death
Those
Day
movies
to
are crazy.
you. Happy
Yeah,
Death Day
good stuff.
3D when?
For real. When's it gonna happen? But also like it kind of feels like what do you even do after the second one?
Right. I know. It goes a little crazy. You do
it
3D is what you do.
Right. That's right. Fair enough. Hey, happy 50th,
Not Death Day.
50th anniversary, 50th episode, and third anniversary to our
3 years.
podcast. That we 3 years and 50 episodes. We have done. We have been that, which means we've been doing it about a third of the time.
Yep.
Hey, I'm about to say,
Pretty much.
we're almost to the point where you could line these up and listen to one every week and it'll make a year.
Almost. We'll be there soon, baby. We'll be there. Honestly, just even though this is our first episode in forever, gotta say thanks to anyone who's listening, especially after our another long hiatus. We are honestly a podcast that's known for its hiatuses at this point. But we're excited because this is the beginning of sort of CTC 2.0. This is the new era. Then we'll get into in this episode after this cold open. We'll talk about what the new format is finally, even though we've been teasing it for like almost a year. And we'll talk about what you're going to get next week is going to be, I mean, this episode will be in the new format to a degree. And then the next week you'll really see what we got to offer. But we can't do this without you guys, honestly. And like, even though we've been gone for so long, we're really excited to keep going. We've got this new format that we're excited about. And we're like, we kind of all have a renewed excitement for the podcast. And we also think it's going to be a format that we will be able to bring you every week without
consistently.
Yes, without us getting burnt out and stopping for a while.
Right.
We've got a few.
Yeah.
It's like we're at least for sure going for the next like month, right?
Right. Yeah.
At least we got a month. No, but I believe by the time this airs, we will have a good number banked, and that'll make it all easier. Hopefully it's
Like
it's
Sunday
gonna be
morning.
fun. We're excited. A wider variety of things to talk about. It's gonna be great. How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling about 50? How you feeling about 3 years?
It's crazy, man.
Sounds about right.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Started
is
this
crazy.
thing in the midst of the novel coronavirus, as we all know.
Novel.
And it's still around.
Still around, dude.
It's still
not
around.
over, dude. Pandemic is not over, dude.
We're not gonna quit the podcast for good until the pandemic is over, bro.
Riding it out.
Oh man. Yeah. Thanks, guys. This is fun. It's a good pod, but it was too much work for us. So we're gonna bring you something exciting. So
Bro, we've
I don't
been
know,
through apartments, all these different moves,
True.
all these changes.
Yeah.
I've been at this apartment the whole time, but my room setup has changed a lot. And very likely after a handful of these new episodes, you'll see me in a new apartment. I believe I'll be moving. That's the plan.
Nice.
And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Tariq recorded at a couple apartments, and you're at Nia's right now, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, in Atlanta. He's podcasting. He's across states.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's in Philly. Before he was in Jersey. Now he's in Atlanta for temporary. Occasionally in Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah. Occasional back and forth. Bring the pod with me. No excuses.
I did one of the Patreon episodes in Illinois as well.
You did,
right.
Didn't you? That's wrong. Did you not do the one we did with Nick there too, or am I making that up?
It's possible. It's very possible. Okay. It was so long ago.
It was
so long ago. It was probably like 6 episodes ago.
Shit.
Oh man. Yeah, it's very possible I recorded 2 there. I mean, I remember the first one I recorded was one of the Shreks, and I was drunk. So
dude, that's for my money, that's our best episode.
It's our
first Shrek, our first Patreon app.
I'll give you that because I was
drunk.
I was re-listening to that shit. That shit is jokes. Like, especially you, Mikey, you were on my ass the whole episode. So funny. It's like, what are the funny parts of this movie? Please tell me.
I'm making waffles. Everyone loves me. I'm making waffles. Funniest line in cinema history. I'm making waffles.
It's going to sound like a Patreon ad, but the Shrek one is one of my favorites. The Ted 2 one.
Ted 2, man. We weren't even drunk for that one. We were just mad.
Basically, the ones where we're haters. The ones where we're haters are the best episodes.
Well, no. The Gumby John, the Gumby one, dude, is crazy. That one is
Gumby
good.
one, baby.
Oh, there it is. Gumby 1. Gumby 1. Oh man, yeah.
The Clay Boys, Gumby and the Clay Boys.
Yeah,
I like that this accidentally turned into a Patreon ad. Honestly, if
I didn't mean for it to.
We're by the time
sign up for the Patreon. This is an ad. Yes,
this is an ad. No, but by the time this episode releases, we'll have gotten back on the Patreon feed as well. We will have covered the Kung Fu Panda 2, 3, and 4, which we know KFP 4 just came out. But that will, what do we have, like 30 to 40 episodes on the Patreon, something like that? It's a lot of extra episodes, guys. It's like a full ass library of additional podcasts.
I don't think a single one is under an hour. Like,
most
is probably like
short.
58 or something. Like, it's probably not even.
Isn't that first Shrek like 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours.
It is.
Yes,
that's a long ass episode. I think and we put a preview of it like 45
and it was like a 40-minute preview. I think. On the main.
It's like we did barely dug into it.
Oh man, cool. All right, well,
we got some shit up there.
Should we check out the Patreon? Thanks to everyone who's already on the Patreon, people who didn't abandon the Patreon when we disappeared, but we're gonna have a lot more coming your way. There's at least 3 new episodes up there, and you'll have weekly episodes of this podcast from here on out until we fuck up again. We'll see. No, I feel good about it. I feel really good about what we're doing, and I think it's we're all really motivated in this new in what we've got going now. So we're excited, and we think we're going to be bringing you good content. So let's cue the theme song, and we can tell you exactly what we're doing. It's fun. New
Let's go.
Format. Cue.
I been watching them for years. It's always been something that fit with all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a family guy that sucks. With a father from a Hella Burger family runs a month. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse.
Let's watch cartoons that curve.
Yeah, that's bananas.
As rough.
What the is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse, 50th episode, spectacular, and new format reveal, 3-year anniversary. There's lots going on.
All them things.
My name is Johnny. I am your co-host when I decide we should do the podcast. I'm here with Tariq. Tariq, how are you?
I'm doing good for somebody that decided to show up to work today.
Hell yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
This is a fun job when we don't have so many episodes to watch to do it. It's fun. We are also here with our producer and editor and co-host of our After Dark Patreon episodes, Mikey Yunez. Mikey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm on the ones and zeros when I show up to the records, which is not that often. But here we are.
I will say though, for the episodes we recorded so far for the new format, you have showed up for every one.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't chimed in though. I haven't done the chime in thing.
It's
You haven't done that thing that throws me off where you raise your hand.
Oh wait, which thing? This thing?
No.
They'll never know. They'll never know what it looks like.
I love that is a bit just for us too, because it's not like the people watching the video format can see that happening. Oh man. And it's also partially because of the new format that I don't think you've chimed in. It's like we're working out the kinks and we're ironing out what it is. Yeah. And like there is, as we'll reveal in a moment, that there's a whole new angle to the podcast. We'll still be talking about adult animation, but there's a reason that it's going to be conveyed slightly differently in how we're doing it. But we're very excited. I know we've been teasing this. We came up with this idea last year, and then we finally have just like kind of hit the ground and we're like, all right, let's do it. Let's get this new format rolling and see if this is something that we like doing and if it works. And I guess I'll just tell you what the plan is. So now, rather than covering seasons, rather than covering full seasons of the show, which is too much work for us, we're very sorry. We were overzealous in our premise of this podcast to begin with, and the fact that we made so many of those
on all our hands is what
exactly
it was.
That's right, because we started this podcast while we were still all pretty much locked down. And so we had the time to just sit and watch things, and honestly, all things considered, we did so many episodes with that much to watch. We really did a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, those Futurama joints were...
I think back to those and it's just inhumane. Like, it's not even...
just like to assume anyone could follow along properly and like actually get these watched.
Make sure you do your homework before listening to CTZ.
Yeah.
Watch 24 episodes or something.
So the new format is very exciting. We're going to get a more of a variety in each episode. We're going to have fewer episodes to watch, and it'll be much easier for you to watch along with us. And there's a whole new angle. We are going to be bringing in for every episode a guest. We are switching to a guest focused format where we bring in someone that we know who has either been on the podcast before, someone from YouTube who you might know, some of our friends from the YouTube space, and people from the animation world, animators, directors, creators, showrunners in some instances. And they are going to bring us their 1 to 3 favorite adult animation episodes. They can choose anywhere between 1 and 3 episodes. We will watch those to begin with. We will before the episode, we will tell you guys what to watch before each episode airs so that you can pay attention to our Instagram and our Twitter. We'll probably make graphics where we'll say, hey, here's the 3 episodes, here's our guest, or here's the 1 episode, here's the 2 episodes. And we'll watch those. And then the first half of the episode will be a little bit more of an interview with our guest, where we are not only getting to know them, which will change depending on what their relationship is to us. Sometimes there are contemporaries in YouTube. Sometimes they're people in animation and we just want to geek out. Sometimes they are our friends and we just want to catch up.
Right.
And then we will also talk to them and interview them through their interests in adult animation. It's sort of an interview through their adult animation watching tendencies, their relationships to these shows, their relationships to the shows that we cover, and what their favorites are, why they're their favorites. And then we will talk about the episodes that they've chosen, and we'll get into it. We'll ask them, why they chose this episode. Why is this your favorite episode? Or in some cases, we might have people on who bring us their least favorite episodes that they want to trash. We will see. So it's exciting. We're really excited. We have recorded a handful so far, and they've gone really well. We're still working out the kinks, and it will still just get better and better. But like, all things considered, excited. Like, right, guys? Going pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
We got a
psyched.
good show on our hands.
Hell yeah. So that's the new format. Sound off down below if you hate it or if you love it. Let us know. But we're really excited about it. What are some of the shows we've even talked about? Like the variety, we've only recorded a handful, and the variety of shows we've already talked. Simpsons,
Rick and Morty,
Family Guy, Rick and Morty, Bojack, Harley Quinn. Yeah. It's like already just a good mix. And it's just really I also think the format really lends to what works best about podcasts, is just people like really passionately geeking out about stuff, which is obviously what we do. But when we were bringing in guests before, it was almost just like, I can't believe we made these people watch so much TV and then have to talk about all of them. Which is why I think
it really
maybe
it shrinks the pool of guests you can get.
Yeah.
You just can't get somebody who's even a little busy.
Exactly. I mean, even like when we brought in Nintendo or Billiam, it was because we could just make them watch one Futurama movie instead of a full season. So it's exciting to have them be like, oh, I want to talk about this, and I think it will cater to what this podcast was supposed to be about, which is us getting really excited to talk about these kinds of cartoons. Without us being exhausted by it.
Man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and it'll be easy for you to follow along. And it's gonna be more of a variety. And we might throw in some other stuff in the middle, depending on how we feel. We might jump on for an emergency episode if we want to talk about something. We'll see how it goes. But for now, we're really excited about the format. It's going really great. And today we're going to do like a little mini version of that. We got Mikey on as our guest, but today, for the 50th, all three of us have brought one episode.
Yeah.
You will know what they are by the time you're listening to this. If you follow us on any social media, you will. Chances are you just got this in your feed and you're like, oh, a new episode. Cartoons That Curse.
Oh, they back? I thought they died.
Yeah. We are alive. Or are we just AI recreations?
What if that's what was going on?
Dude, we wouldn't have to do anything.
It's the future, man.
Well, if it's just like a guy that's like, man, if they're not going to make cartoons that curse, I'll make cartoons that curse.
Do we have
what
enough?
would they think of this episode? And then it just
Are there
generates
enough?
a podcast.
Are there enough hours of us talking on this podcast for them to generate fake versions of us? I wonder.
I think so, dude. If you
include all your videos and stuff.
Like the Patreon,
the videos would be. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
think
like 20
right,
something hours on Patreon, so you already got that. And
that's true. There's a lot on Patreon. That is true. Cool. All right. Hell yeah. Well, do you guys want to introduce your episodes that you brought? Should we talk about the episodes we brought? Should we talk? Do you want to catch up at all? Should we talk about other stuff?
What are we watching, boys?
Yeah, what are we watching?
Watching?
Right, I'm in the middle of. By the time this comes out, you'll have seen the video. Well, the video will be out. I am actively watching, literally every film ever nominated for Best Animated Feature. It's a project I tried to start last year, didn't give myself enough time. Went about it differently this year, and it's going really good.
Banging it out.
Yeah. At this point, I have watched. I mean, like, I was looking at my Letterboxd stats. Last year, I watched 188 films. Nice. This year, so far, I have watched like 86 films.
There you go.
It's crazy. And I've also, I've been squeezing in some movies here and there, but I've watched about 75-ish of the 99 nominees. I've written about around 60 of those. We've edited around 20 of them. And I still have to write all of the sort of context that really the video is about, the context of what gets nominated in each year, what deserves to win, if something deserved to win, what their tendencies for nominations are. That's kind of really the meat and potatoes of the video, even though it's also going to be so many little 3 to 7 minute segments about movies. It's going to be a long video, but
that's going to be one of them things. So remember I said, I tweeted not too long ago, I said I need to make one of them videos that like auto plays when you go to sleep.
Right.
That's gonna be one of those.
Yeah. Well, I'm also my other plan is also I'm doing a compilation channel where I'm just all the videos I've already made that are in one theme. I'm just gonna string them into one video and be like and rename it like a billion South Park facts to go to sleep to. Just assume that'll work. But yeah, so I've been watching a lot of animated films, 70 plus of them. And really that's about it. Me and this girl I've been seeing have watched we started Search Party. She loves Search Party. I love Search Party and she is liking it so far. It's a fun one. About to watch Avatar is going to come out tonight. The Netflix Last Airbender. So I'll watch that.
Fun.
I don't know. Not.
I mean, at this point, it will
else.
already be out, and I assume winning a bunch of awards and stuff. By the time this episode drops, so.
Yes, certainly. I don't know. I got to see Robot Dreams.
You did.
I got to go see that. It's so good. It's so good. Highly recommend when that comes out to go see it. I've seen The Boy and the Heron 3 times now. I saw it for a second time and was like truly within an hour of walking out of the theater, I was like, I want to watch that again almost immediately. and so I went again.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you guys? What are you guys watching?
I've been doing this month. I kind of started doing it by accident. Me and my roommate, but then it just kind of turned into a thing. So every day this month, I've been watching at least one Black movie that I haven't seen for Black History Month.
Oh, hell yeah.
I watched Juice last night.
That's your video,
Juice.
dude. Why didn't you?
You know what's so funny? On like the 4th day, I was like, I should probably do what Johnny's doing. And then the days just kept going and going until I never got up.
It's too late. Now it's too late.
It's too late.
What are the highlights, though?
The highlights? Oh, I've been ranking them on Letterboxd. Let me let you know. It's been fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's been some bullshit. I saw Melvin Van Peebles' Sweetback's Badass Song. It's like one of the first blaxploitation movies.
Nice.
Hated that shit. I respect the fuck out of it. But that shit was not a vibe. So far at number 1 on the list, I got The Five Bloods. Spike Lee's The Five Bloods.
I love The Five Bloods.
That's a movie right there. I love that shit.
Hell.
I love that shit. What else I got?
Man, was robbed of that Oscar. He should have won the damn thing.
Nah, he's so good. He's so good in that shit. Like, no lie. I saw The Book of Clarence.
That just came out, right?
Yeah, boy, flopping like shit though, but I love it. It's great. It's number 2 on the ranking. I love that shit. It's flopping like fuck though. That budget was like 40 mil and they made like 6. So I mean, anybody that this is too late. You can't help The Book of Clarence now. But maybe I guess buy it or something.
Rent it on VOD. Yeah.
Let's see. I saw the Bob Marley movie the other day. One Love.
Oh, One Love.
Yeah, that was all right. It did a kind of a thing that like I always thought that biopic should do, which is like instead of trying to do like somebody's whole story, you just kind of pick a section.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it does. But at the same time, in doing that, it was kind of like, it's weird to say, but it almost feels like the movie never gets started. Like it kind of feels like they just kind of like place you, and then you just kind of watch it happen, and then it just kind of like, boom, title card, Bob Marley died this day. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
Damn, dude. I saw that trailer.
It's like an hour 40 or something.
I saw that trailer about 1 million times. So it kind of turned me off from seeing
I feel that, bro.
But I'm glad it's making money because Kingsley Ben-Adir, the actor, Greta Gerwig suggested him for James Bond after working with him in Barbie. And
on Barbie.
Having a hit on his hands could help his case. I kind of like that.
It could.
Hell yeah.
He was a good. He was Malcolm X. Yeah, he was a good Malcolm X. And One Night in Miami. One Night in Miami. Regina
in the Regina King movie, right? She directed it.
Wow.
He's pretty good.
Wow, playing Malcolm X and
good.
Bob Marley. And maybe James Bond?
And maybe James Bond. Gonna have to start having some different conversations about bro, man.
And Ken, one of the Kens.
He is one of the Kens. That's what, when I hopped on his letterbox after walking out of One Love, I did Barbie was right there. I was like, wait, who the fuck? Oh, right, Ken. Right. I completely forgot. The last one I'll bring up. Okay, there's two. The last two I'll bring up. I saw this movie called The Watermelon Woman, which is really fucking good. It's like about this like black lesbian filmmaker. She's trying to it's like 96, and she like finds through like watching like old videotapes and stuff or whatever, because she works at a video store. She finds this like one actress that like doesn't have any like logged history. She's only credited as the Watermelon Woman, and the whole movie is her trying to make a doc while also trying to like figure out if she can find out who this woman is and like preserve her history. It's a really good movie. I was surprised by how much I like that. And I saw Class Act, which is the other Kid and Play movie, the one that's not House Party. That movie was pretty good, except I guess it's kind of except. The end of the movie is
like
nuts.
School themed? Is Class Act like a pun title?
It is a pun title. So it's like, dude, it's kind of like Hood Prince and the Pauper, low key. Like it's like so Kid is like the nerdy guy and Play is like the felon. And they make Play, they're both like 17. They make Play go to school and they bump into each other. A whole bunch of shit happens and their files get mixed up. So they think that Play is the genius that's going to save the school. And they think that Kid is the roughhouser that'll like ruin the school. And they just both assume each other's identities. And at first you think it's going to be really annoying, but then it kind of keeps going and they do some interesting stuff. And it's a good time. It's a nice movie. The way the movie ends, apparently, so in Kid trying to, I don't give a fuck about spoiling Class Act. In Kid trying to hide this part of his life, what's going on from his parents think something's going on with him, but the movie kind of just makes them like think he's gay. So when the movie ends with Kid having sex with a girl in his house. And then the dad hears it and he walks in thinking that his kid having sex with a guy. But then he walks in, he sees the girl, and then he's just like relentlessly happy. He's like, oh, my son. And he like goes in the room and the mom is like, what happened? He's like, oh, he in there having sex with a girl. And he like goes to sleep and the mom's like, what the fuck? And that's like how the movie
Dude, that's crazy.
That's wild.
That's wild as fuck.
Wow. There's a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode I watched recently where like Funkhauser, Bob Einstein's character, Marty Funkhauser, his daughter who is gay, but then later on she's like engaged to a man and Larry hears about it and like is like congratulating Funkhauser and so like he's giving him like the dirty look.
Classic Curb.
Classic Curb. That shit about to be over with, ain't it? It's over,
last
right?
season
It
right
is.
now.
It's running right now. I'll be watching that. One of the things I'm watching, I'd say.
What else you got?
Yeah, what you got?
I'm finally doing it. I'm watching Sopranos. And I watched the first season of Sopranos.
I gotta do it too.
Dude, I'll say, like, look, there's nothing like I could say about The Sopranos that like probably hasn't been said a million times over. But I will say it's instantly very good and very watchable. Like first episode, I was like, this is so fun. It's satirical. It's funny. It's like setting up all these great themes. Like I'm so into it. If you haven't heard, Sopranos is a pretty good show. Okay.
Hell yeah.
And then I'll have to watch The Many Saints of Newark.
Yo, you know what's funny? I haven't seen The Sopranos, but I saw that in theaters with my dad.
Really?
And we saw it in Newark. My dad spent the whole movie like, oh, they go 18.5. They go. I'm like, yeah. Like they filmed
the whole
it here,
show.
bro.
The whole show's in Jersey.
Yeah. The theme song, I recognize every Parkway. And that I wrote a paper on that in college.
Hell yeah. Is you seen any good movies recently, Mikey? You gotten out to the theater?
Oh man, I mean it's the slow time. So
it's the slow season.
I did go to the theater. I saw Dune, the first Dune. I'm looking very much forward to the second Dune. I'll probably have seen it 3 times by the time this episode drops. Maybe more. We're going to see Tenet this weekend. Also.
That's right.
Saturday
we're gonna go see Tenet
about that.
Tenet 70 mil IMAX. I've never seen it, so I figured that's the way.
That's hard.
It's the way to do it. Very excited.
That's
and we lucked into
pretty
some
much.
great tickets. We had Mikey was looking at the app and he was like, oh man, all the good seats are taken. I'm just going to keep looking at it. And then he hit me up and he was like, 4 prime seats just opened. And I had already had a ticket to that showing or to a different showing. I was like, all right, I'm going to cancel my ticket and get these seats. And it worked. It's great. I'm stoked.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I'm about to start watching Invincible finally.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, they gave me screeners for season 2 like a month.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck, I should probably get on this and watch this damn show. Yeah, I've read the comics, a lot of the comics, and I love them. They're great.
Okay. You're doing it in the order that most people that watch that cartoon have not. So
correct.
That's pretty good.
That's right. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm excited. I've
been watching Vince Staples' show on Netflix. I watched the first 3 of those. It was really funny.
What's it called?
It's literally just called the Vince Staples Show.
The Vince Staples Show. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty. The second one is like, it starts off with a scene that makes you go like, oh, that's funny, but that's not what the episode is going to be about, right? And then that is what the fucking episode is going to be about. It's just Vince just goes to the bank to try to get like a small business loan, and then like while he's at the bank, these guys start robbing the bank. And then they tell Vince to turn around, and it turns out Vince grew up with the guys. So they're just kind of hanging out the whole time. It's pretty good.
That's really funny. Oh, that's great. What a good premise. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anything coming out you're looking forward to? You said Doom Part 2. KFP 4 we'll have already talked about in the Patreon. Hopefully that's good. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming up. That'll be cool.
What's that Amazon cartoon that's coming out? The Hospital, second greatest hospital.
Dude, I got screeners for that too. I've been so deep in this project I haven't gotten to watch it. But the second best hospital in the galaxy, a great title. It's a really good title. Who's like? It's got a ton of.
It's Kiki Palmer and
right.
I forgot who else. And I read somewhere that apparently it's going to be the first time that like all of the Culkins are together.
Yeah, it's going to be all the Culkins playing actual brothers in one scene.
That's pretty good.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Let's see.
Rank the Culkins. How we
Fuck me. Where do I start?
I mean, Kieran's had a big recent surge.
It's Kieran and Macaulay, and then I don't know the other one's names.
See, Rory's good. Rory might be.
What's he been in?
That's a good name.
Well, okay, so he's in Signs. Rory Culkin, he's the kid in Signs. Great in that movie. He's also in Scream 4. Fantastic.
Okay,
those are two special important movies.
You got some shit on him already.
Already is like up there, but Kieran right up there too. You know, between Succession and Scott Pilgrim, you know he's up there too.
This main cast is really good for second best hospital in the galaxy. It's Kieran Culkin, Stephanie Sue, Natasha Lyonne, Kiki Palmer, Maya Rudolph. Like really solid, really solid.
Maya Rudolph do a lot of cartoons, man.
Well, yeah,
I mean, because she got a great voice for it,
and
but,
she's winning Emmys for that voice, man. She got the Emmy for Big Mouth a couple times, I think.
Wow.
For the Hormone Monstrous.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch her Amazon show Forever? I think it's called. It's her and Fred Armisen.
No, I don't think I even knew about it.
It's like one season, like 8 episodes. So fucking solid. Like
hell yeah.
Very under the radar. Great show.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I would check that out. I mean, I love both of them as comedic performers a lot.
We got to talk about the 3 episodes. I just kind of want to do this.
Just shoot the shit the whole time, right? Yeah. I know. Well, that's the fun thing. Is like the tangents are so fun. I mean, we all obviously also get some people who are commenting, when do you talk about the episodes? Here's the time code. We start talking about the episodes. If you don't want to hear us talk, don't listen to our fucking podcast.
And I know for a fact there's tons of people who listen and don't watch the episodes, because I do that for some of my favorite podcasts. I'm just like, well, whatever. I still want to hear them talk. So I appreciate tangent, when it's like something I can, connect to.
Grasp
onto. Exactly. And I also think that far more people just care to hear us talk about anything than the people who are mad we're not talking about 10 episodes of Futurama. And so I don't know.
Obviously hear season 3 episode 6 thoughts. I want them now.
Right. I need those thoughts.
I need those thoughts.
I need those thoughts on my desk by end of day.
I need those thoughts.
By the way, in the show notes, we'll have written reports on all the episodes that we submitted.
That's right. We'll be typing up annotated reports with citations, sources, sourced.
Wait, we
citations.
need one of those. What do you, the people in court who transcribe? What do you call that?
Oh, a stenographer.
We're hiring a stenographer at CTC.
Honestly, funny. I feel like if we had some person like that here, and I can only speak for myself, but I feel like I would just abuse that relentlessly. Like, hey, bro, you getting that right? Like, just make sure you get this down.
And then they have to write that too,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and referring to stenographer. To hey, bro,
hey, bro.
I'll just say big also, words and then glare over. You trying to think about how to spell that one.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, good stuff. Well, maybe we should talk about the episode.
Let's do it. I want to. I'm excited.
We're gonna go in release order for these 3. This is fun trio to watch for just because they're so different.
Yeah. Different, but so us.
So
they
us.
Are. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that.
The first, the 3 episodes we chose today. Mikey chose Archer season 6 episode 5 Vision Quest. I chose Bojack Horseman season 4 episode 2 The Old Sugarman Place, and Tariq chose Family Guy season 9 episode 1 And Then There Were Fewer, which is a double length episode.
Yeah, I had to ask permission before.
Yeah. So Tariq cheated. We get to bring another episode.
Kind of cheated a little bit. But man, did I have a really fun time sitting down and watching these last night. They're all I hadn't seen Vision Quest in forever. That episode is jokes.
We're gonna get
The Old Sugarman Place is it's my favorite episode of Bojack. So I'm very excited to talk about that. And then There Were Fewer was a really fun, different Family Guy episode. It was really wild. And a big one canonically. Lots happens in it.
It does. Yeah.
So we'll start talking about Archer first. What do we do? Archer, Family Guy, Bojack. Oh wait,
that was
Family Guy. Right. You're right.
Archer, Bojack.
Family Guy, Archer, Bojack.
Release
That's right.
Order, yeah.
That's right. Release order, which if you are following on our socials, you'll know. If you're just listening now, I don't know. You can pause and go watch if you want, or you can just listen to us talk. Or go down in the comments and complain it took us 40 minutes to start talking about the episodes. Do that now. I want that comment on my desk by end of day.
My end of day.
Okay, Tariq.
Yeah.
We know you love Family Guy.
Right.
We know you love
Does
Family
he?
Guy.
Yeah, you can't tell, right?
Everyone who listens to this podcast should know you love Family Guy. And if they don't, I don't understand what you've been doing. What do you mean?
I'm listening.
So why did you choose Family Guy and then there were fewer? Why did you pick this one?
So neither one of y'all have seen this before, right?
Correct.
I've never seen it.
That is why I picked it. I was like, what's
Tricking us into watching Family Guy.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what is a really good episode of Family Guy that like, I feel like is like different than anything I could have I could have picked like a random one from season 16 or something, but I was like, what is like one that like, I feel like not only could we talk a lot about, but like, something that I feel like we get the biggest reaction out of both of you. Cause I feel like it's just such a different thing. I was like, there's no way they're not gonna like this one.
I was curious off the bat. How do they? Is this the only like extra long episode? Have they done these before?
Blue Harvest and stuff like that,
sure.
you know, those,
and then like the Simpsons
Star Wars
crossover,
right?
But
which
like,
was another one I thought about picking.
Sure,
but I held off.
That would be funny. That would be a fun. I mean, we should talk about that at some point. That
One
is
day,
a good,
for
that
sure.
is a good one to talk about. But yeah, this like I like a murder mystery. Murder mysteries are fun. And then this, and also like the title's good, and then there were fewer, but this
Right.
got like this totally shining ass intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the first time the show was in widescreen.
Oh, it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
Man.
that was Seth MacFarlane going like, "Oh, we're gonna get the bigger picture. Let's do something bigger." And this was like the only show I know to like do that, to kind of be like, acknowledge the difference like in that big of a way,
Right.
to try to tell a different
I
story
did
that
not
way.
realize that tracks though. And then, but then the other obviously like very noticeable thing is just excessive use of 3D shots.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, to really go for that, the backgrounds and like the music do like such heavy lifting to make this feel like.
I mean, that
bigger.
was my first reaction because like I haven't watched Family Guy in years and years and years, so I'm like don't have like an idea of Family Guy in my head, especially not like once you get up there in seasons like season 9. Which how many seasons are there total now? Or-
22.
Like 22.
So it's like it's like
21,
it's like
22.
the middle of the
Mid-era.
run basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was immediately like questioning, like, damn, is it always this cinematic? Like, do they
No way.
do these things? Like there's so much camera work. Like you said, these 3D shots where they're like, let's actually like go crazy with the camera, and it makes sense that it's like their first widescreen that they're like, let's do some cinema. But also, I
Right.
wanted to ask about like the score. Like, is the score always this like well produced?
That it always is. Yes.
Okay, see,
It
that's
always
It
like-
really,
is.
the score
Yeah.
is really good in this.
It is.
This
It's good,
episode.
and
It's
like
crazy.
the opening credits is like I was like, damn, this is not what I expected.
Yeah.
I did
man.
enjoy that.
Yeah, very very cool episode to choose. I mostly enjoyed it. It was a fun episode. There was some like, I enjoyed the mystery. Like I like the twists and turns of a murder mystery are fun. And they kind of it's not like it did anything like really crazy or subversive. It's kind of just like doing a murder mystery with the
Straightforward,
big
yeah.
twist at the end, and so once Tom Tucker gets arrested at the end, I'm like, well, it's not him. Like we're gonna find something else out, but it was fun. It's a fun setting. It's a lot of fun characters. It's like it was especially fun after not really watching the show that much for so long to just see all of these characters come in and knowing a lot of them, but some of them just being like, I think I've seen that guy.
There were a couple I was watching it. I was like, they might not know who that is. That's so
Right.
funny. Like the H. John Benjamin like movie guy. You guys
Right.
know him.
We're double dipping
know
on
him.
John Benjamin today.
I
We
thought
are.
that, Yeah, I know him from I knew him from the Star Wars episodes because he's Yoda in Empire. But I knew he was in the show, but I didn't really know his role. Before that. So it's funny. It's like a low key John Benjamin performance. Like it's like he feels even lower key than Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was funny. I thought there were some fun character interactions, like at the my favorite, the joke that I laughed at really hard at the beginning is it was funny because it started as a joke that I was like rolling my eyes at, which is Jillian's boyfriend explaining to him like, no, he's not made of wood. No, the Hollywood sign is funny, but it's when he's explaining to Jillian and he's like, he's saying, no, his name is James Woods, but he's not made of wood. Nobody's made of wood. And then they show the sea captain and he just looks so angry. So funny. That was great. Oh man. Yeah, and then like the fact that how often is James Woods in the show? I remember him being in the show.
Yeah. He's extremely that well, not anymore, obviously, but
Sure.
like earlier there's probably like a good like 4 or 5.
Gotcha. So it's not like he's not like Adam West level.
Nah.
Yeah. But I do remember them in the Family Guy Simpsons crossover since James Woods have been on both shows. They had like a little James Woods.
Right.
Do you think they killed him because he sucks now?
Well, spoiler alert for Family Guy, he is not dead. He comes back.
Oh no!
He comes back.
Damn it. Oh man, I thought they got him.
Okay, so from what I know, I found this is very dicey information. I found this out on the Watch Mojo top 10. But they showed proof, so this is where from what I know, they tried to do another James Woods episode kind of like directly addressing that he's kind of lost his fucking mind.
Interesting.
And he turned it down because he didn't like the direction the script was going or whatever. And you know, when Adam West died, the school in Family Guy has always been James Woods High, but when Adam West died, they renamed it Adam West High.
Nice. I like that. That's great.
And I think that might be the last time James Woods comes up because Brian is just like, James Woods is literally a racist. Why can't we just change the school name to Adam West?
Good.
Yeah, bad dude, that James Woods.
Yeah. Not
like, did you hear what
favorite.
Natasha Lyonne said about him on Conan's podcast recently?
I did hear that. I forgot about that.
I think I. Oh wait, yeah, I did.
Yeah, everyone go listen to that. Good.
Not chill.
Not a chill.
Not chill. No.
But Video Drum though, he's so good in that.
he's a good actor. Annoying.
Sometimes good artists.
Annoying.
Hades. Oh, good voice performance.
Perfect casting. You know.
Yeah.
The Rudy Giuliani story. He was so good in that. How can I let that go?
Recess school's out. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Man, we used to be able to like James Woods, but then they got him. They got him.
Okay, wait. Hang on. Where did you guys watch this? Where did you watch this
Hulu.
episode?
I watched
you guys
it on
watched
Hulu.
it on Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So there are a couple things in the Hulu. The Hulu one has the like extended cut. There's a few things in it that weren't in the broadcast one, and one of them, since we just said they got him, one of them is that joke where where it's like Brian. I mean, it's Peter and Lois and Quagmire and Bonnie. They're in like the flower thing, and Peter takes out like his phone. It's like it's some stupid shit. It was like Find a Jew or something like that on his like an app. Right. They were in like 2 different, and there was like one in the middle of Texas. And then like the dot disappears. He's like, oh, they got him. Which is like that's not in the first. That's not in the cut that aired. But number 2, that's
they
Ted.
Got him.
That's Ted. They do that in Ted.
I know. Mikey, did you watch any of the new Ted yet?
I've not watched any of the new Ted yet.
That shit gas, bro.
No,
I should have brought in a Ted.
I mean, Mikey, you should. I do think we should cover it on the Patreon. Just because of how much Tariq and I loved it. Like I liked it so much, and then I went back and rewatched both movies, even Ted 2. But even like rewatching the first movie, I was like, man, I like don't like this as much now because the show is so good.
For sure.
But they have this great joke where in the first episode, Ted has to go to he has to start going to school with Johnny. and he's just noticing how everyone's white, and he's like, what's it like being the only white guy in your school? And he goes, oh, we had an Indian kid last year, but they got him. And he just goes, what do you mean they got him? He's like, I liked him too. He was a good guy.
What the fuck does that mean? They got him? That's so funny.
Oh man, we gotta. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll do A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I feel like we got
Patreon,
to,
of course,
dude.
Right.
And then whenever his Naked Gun movie comes out, if that happens,
is he doing that?
Yeah, supposedly like him with Liam Neeson in the lead, which is pretty interesting.
Really?
Kind of like the idea of Liam Neeson doing like the silliest shit.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's the joke in the original.
That is one of the jokes in Ted 2 that I think is funny. Is
the Liam
when, he's insisting that he's like, these are only for children. These tricks.
I mean, it's also just great because like Leslie Nielsen was like a dramatic actor.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah,
that
was the
his,
point.
like late career like comedy star thing. Like Liam Neeson, that's interesting.
I think so too. We'll see how it goes.
Will we do the Good Times reboot when he does that?
Is that gonna happen?
Yeah, it's animated, and it was him, Steph Curry, and Norman Lear. Yeah,
Big three.
The big three, boy. You don't get more bigger than that.
It's rare that it's rare that you can cast an MVP in a starring role.
I know.
Well, he's producing. I don't know if he's in it.
Oh, word. Gotcha. Well, I hope he's the star.
We're also going to do Seth MacFarlane's Oscar hosting stint. We're going to cover that.
Not yet, talking.
He only did one, right? He only did one.
Yeah, he only did one.
I listened to him on Nora Jones' podcast recently. Ooh. I guess they're homies, which makes sense. She did the theme song to Ted. Which got nominated for an Oscar, which I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a best friend. And then she performed at the Oscars, which is kind of cool. I really like Nora Jones, but she has a good new podcast where she brings on friends and they just make music, or they just perform music together.
That's fun.
And
I should listen to that one. I listened to we're like the bizarro version of each other. I ended up listening to Seth MacFarlane on Logic's podcast.
You know what's so funny is I listened to Logic on Nora Jones' podcast.
Fuck
me. It's a pretty good episode. It's interesting. Like they but yeah, because they're friends too, right? Seth MacFarlane was on one of his tracks.
Yeah,
right?
It was out. Yeah, he was calling him Bobby the whole interview.
Bobby,
it was the funniest shit ever.
Well, I think Nora does that too. I think she, because I think it's just his name. It's just his name.
Yeah, it's funny.
But it is funny to have him refer to him that way. But he was talking about they did ask him back for a second Oscars, and he felt like he only would have been doing it to like, I don't know, just like be like, see, they asked me again to all the haters, but he was like, I decided not to do that.
I feel that.
Yeah. I do think he's a funny guy. I don't remember his Oscar. I remember a couple aspects of his Oscar hosting.
Well, he did the "I Saw Your Boobs" song, which was highly controversial.
Highly controversial. I do remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh man. And then we'll cover the Orville, of course, all of the Orville.
Yes, absolutely.
Get some good norm.
That's right.
Some good norm. You know.
Okay. What else about this episode?
What we got?
One of my notes is just, God, I love Adam West.
Dude, that was the first time I really laughed in the episode, is when he did the like message in the bottle bit, where he's like, I'll write a message in a bottle, and then he puts it down. It's like, now we wait.
His delivery is he's just got such good delivery. Like even though the joke is kind of lame, his delivery of like when he pulls out the joint to smoke and they don't want to, he's like, oh, I got paired up with a bunch of squares.
Squares, I tell you, squares. There's a part where that's what I really like about how this one is written, is because it gets funnier the more you know about the show. There's a part where I forget who he's talking to, but he just looks and he says, "Look at what a ridiculous man you are." And it's like, if you know the show, he's the most ridiculous man in that
town. I love him. He's great. It's so funny that they just used him as a main, like basically one of the most recurring characters in the show is Adam West as himself.
As the show goes on, he becomes related to the Griffins. Like he's like part of their like extended family because he marries Lois's sister.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wild.
I mean, the guy was down, you know.
He was down.
Of course, why not?
Hell yeah. Man, what else? You have any other favorite moments? Mikey, how about you? You have any, as Mikey is probably the least enthusiastic about Family Guy in general of the three of us. What was your favorite part about
That's
this?
probably fair to say. I mean, let's see. I mean, I liked, my favorite thing about it is like what we already mentioned, like the like cinematic stuff, and just that was like very cool. But some bits that got me when they go into the secret room and Peter does the like, oh, laundry room, and then opens another secret door. It's like so stupid.
It's so I liked him just saying, oh, see, here we go. After he gets there.
I like that there. I appreciated a reference to the movie The Great Outdoors. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd with the bear. It's like the bear from The Great Outdoors. Just a movie I liked when I was a kid. And also just the weird thing with John Benjamin being like, I'll use my imagination, and then just has a conversation with the bear.
Right. That was good.
That shit was funny. And then I was really like, I wasn't like totally like super like enthused about it the whole way through, but like I was really won back by like the like montage explanation. Of,
it's
that
good,
stuff
right?
is good.
It's like I love anything like that where it's like almost like it's much stupider than you could have imagined. It was like it wasn't clever at all.
Totally. Yeah. I like that a lot. Also, just the fact that that's how they kill Diane, because I think you had told me, Tariq, that they kill Diane later in the show, and I was like, that's crazy. And for them to do it in a big murder mystery episode where she's the murderer is crazy.
It's so nuts. They like, in watching this one and knowing for years how it ends, every once in a while I'll see something and I'm like, she's the first person to blame somebody. She's the first person to say, I think Tom did it.
Right.
Like that should have been like the red flag right there.
Right, for sure. That's interesting. Yeah, you kind of play it off as just like their professional rivalry or whatever. Like they work together and they have kind of this, they even on the air have this like kind of contentious relationship, right? They're like kind of they talk shit about each other a lot. So it like makes sense for the character to immediately say Tom, but then turns out it was for real.
Man.
I even though I don't agree with the burn at the end when they do the joke when Tom's getting arrested and they go and you'll be played in like a movie by Adrian Brody and everyone's and then he goes, well, I guess you don't want anyone to see the movie, and everyone laughs.
He's like, all right, easy now.
Dude, why is Adrian Brody catching a stray
so mean.
No, it's funny though. The other day I watched the film The Village, which has maybe the most cursed Adrian Brody performance of all time. So I was definitely primed for an Adrian Brody burn.
That was such a funny gag. Oh man. Man. I also laughed at this is not really even related to the premise, but I like Peter just being a child, and I loved them leaving and going, are any of my Hot Wheels in the bathroom?
Lois. She like walks back out.
Oh man, so stupid. And then
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I like the moment at the end when Lois is like, the gun's at her back, and she's just like, please tell that I'm acting weird, Peter. Like, and he was like, why'd she call me Pete? Oh well.
Like, weird. No.
It's like, why am I trying to figure this out right now?
Yeah, right.
I could be looking for my Hot Wheels. I got a couple like lines that I really liked. If you couldn't tell already, the first one I wrote down was when after Stephanie dies, the girl that Quagmire brings. Well, they're so mean to her. By the way, this whole fucking episode.
They're really mean to her. She is annoying.
It's so mean to her. But Peter says, Quagmire loved that girl, and he's like, easy.
Yeah, Quagmire loved that girl. It's so funny.
When he's going through the book of what James Woods did to everybody. She says, "Oh, Bonnie, he punched you in the throat, and that's why you sound like that." And she says, "No, he punched me in the throat because I sound like this." There's that going bit where Stewie is like really subconscious about his shorts. He's like, "I feel like I'm the only one wearing shorts." And then when Muriel is like, "I didn't kill anybody. You can't." There's like, "Why is he wearing shorts?" Oh, tell it to Mike Judge.
Tell it to Mike Judge is so dumb, but I liked it a lot. Tell it to Mike Judge.
And there's the bit where Peter is assigning everybody to split up, and he's like, "Oh, Seamus and Dr. Hartman, that could be funny. You don't really see you two together."
Yes, that whole sequence where it's just like it feels like Peter is the writers being like, "Who should we pair up for interesting dynamics here?" Yeah,
pretty fair.
I like that. Yeah, man, this is a fun episode. I'm really glad you chose this one. I think this was really fun. I laughed a good amount. I was into the murder mystery aspect, and just the atmosphere and tone of the episode is great. It's really well done. Good sound design. And then just like one of my favorite locations is like when they go in the attic. It's like the dark attics just looks sick. It looks really good.
It's great. It's great. Yeah. I watched this. This is the first time I saw it this way. I watched it on a projector today.
Nice.
That looked nuts. Every time I watch this shit, I have to watch it that way. This is the closest we will probably ever get to a Family Guy movie.
Right.
And seeing it projected large really cemented that.
Why wouldn't they?
Because now you see what it can be, right? Like it could be something cool like this if they did.
It just feels like
well, I think it would look even better.
They would have done it by now if there was going to be a Family Guy movie.
I would love to see Seth direct it. Like, I don't know if he would at this point since he's not been on the show for so long. But I don't know. After just watching all of the Teds that he directed, I'm like, yeah, I like when he's really got his hands on the thing. Other than Ted 2, which is bad.
Well, you haven't seen A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I haven't seen that.
So
yet.
Really, for TV is I feel like maybe his strong suit.
It's a sitcom.
Well, it's also
like a great movie.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's the but it's I guess what I like about his hands on the Ted show is that it's less of a it's more of a family style sitcom, so like I think that the family dynamic he's good at. I don't, and even like in Ted 1, which I didn't love the last time I watched it, the stuff that works is their sort of like familial relationship stuff between him and Ted and his girlfriend and all that. But so I don't know. If he wanted to do the movie, I would like him to do the movie.
For sure.
Yeah. But it feels like other people have been making that show for so long that they would probably just have some of their go-tos do it. I imagine.
Yeah, maybe like Peterson or somebody.
Right.
I'm just saying names at this point. But
all right, should we move on? Should we move on to Archer, Mikey's choice?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So.
I'm glad y'all like that shit.
That was a fun app.
Fun app, great choice.
Going right into another fun app.
Hell
Archer
yeah,
Vision
dude.
Quest, bottle
I was so
episode.
glad this held up because I
so
remember
good.
it at the time and it was like, I was like, did I love it just because it was the best episode in years? Or like, was it actually like one of the great episodes of the show? But I think it holds the fuck up, dude. I was laughing so much. I like couldn't write down the jokes fast enough.
Right.
And like,
yeah,
like you said, it's like it being a bottle episode. The episode is Vision Quest, Archer. And it also just sort of being like, this was after they had done Vice. They went back to the spy thing. It'd been on for 6 seasons. And it was just kind of like, let's like run through all of our recurring jokes. And it's just sort of like a celebration of these characters. They all just kind of do what they do. Like it almost would be like a halfway good series finale. or like a penultimate
Right.
episode. You know, it's just like it's
That's
like
good,
it's the Avengers Endgame where like all the jokes we love from the show are coming out of the portals. You know, and they're
Totally.
just like doing it all. You know,
Yeah, that was one of my notes.
So that's kind of like
it-
why I picked it.
Smart, really smart, because that was one of my big notes. It really highlights how well defined all of these characters are at this point in the show. Like it's like obviously to someone going in and having never seen the show, this would mean a lot less. I think it would still be funny, but man, they just really boil down every character so perfectly into just dialogue. And obviously, this show is so dialogue. It's so dialogue heavy, and like dialogue is such an important part of the show. But to just make them all stuck in an elevator and make it this funny is incredible.
Yeah, it's like all of the, because that's one of the things you hear people talk about a lot when they've been writing a show or characters for a lot of years. Is that like, you know, after a while they kind of start to write themselves. It feels like all of the dialogue falls out of these characters for the whole 20 minutes.
For sure.
Like there isn't like, you don't get a chance to breathe. Like without it, it doesn't feel, it feels claustrophobic obviously because they're in the elevator, but you're not like overwhelmed. You're enjoying it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's not like, you're not wondering like, where is this going? What's going to happen? It's just, you're just enjoying it. This shit is good.
Yeah, there's definitely some gross jokes, but they're funny.
Well, they come from like all the characters you know to be gross.
Totally.
So that's why you kind of turn a blind eye to it.
I mean, Pam, just one of the great TV characters for my
love
money.
Pam.
And just like the evolution of that character is so crazy to me. And like one of the big things that I was thinking about in this one, because I really love those first few seasons of Archer, and they're so mean to Pam in those. And like now there's like Pam is like, they're still like mean to her, but like like the way that Archer has like respect for Pam kind of sometimes.
I love it.
Is so it's the way that he's like who does he say it to? Like, you're not strong like me and Lana and Pam.
Pam,
Like,
Pam.
he includes Pam in that one.
It's so good. I love that.
I love that. I love how quickly they devolve into chaos to fight over food. Like they've been in there for like 5 minutes,
and she just starts nailing the bear claw, like the food, like she starts nailing that.
And the bear claw, that's like a callback joke to like her
the bear
claws. I tried to write down as many of the jokes that I recognized as recurring, but like I feel like I probably missed so many because I haven't been watching the show recently. But the bear claw, like right away,
Yeah, the bear claw. There's the bear claw. There's like the tinnitus, the mop.
Mop.
When they come out of it and everyone's doing it, it's so funny. It's so funny.
But even like on the individual level, like Cheryl does like a she's like, you're not my coal mine supervisor. Like that's like one of her lines.
Yep.
I can't remember specifically in previous episodes when it's happened, but like when Lana says something like about herself, like implying that she's chill or something, and then everybody just starts laughing at her. Like that happens, and that happens a few times. Yeah, I mean, man, I could like also just Pam getting shit faced is always funny, and I feel like that's always happening.
This is a 40 shorty.
I'm about to say she just
like, I cannot
she starts. She takes the 40 to the face like instantly. Like no bullshit. It's so sick.
Oh, the fact that she says this is a 40 shorty is crazy. But I mean, Pam is sus because remember she also like had that like bohemian phase or whatever. Where she had like cornrows and shit in that one episode.
I forgot about that. I love they do such a good job with how gross she is too. Like I love when she burps and they go, "What did you have for what did you eat before this?" She burps, goes, "Linguine and clam sauce."
It's like noon.
Crazy to think to eat in the morning.
It's like noon.
Plus malt liquor.
Malt liquor.
Right, exactly.
It's disgusting.
Pam also had that great line where what was it like? keep your panties on, or so does someone say keep your panties on to Lana, and then Pam goes like one step ahead of you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then she's
and then she also
and then
she is not. Yeah, she was foreshadowing that.
Yeah.
And they all take a moment to say that they've all seen Pam down there before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's like, well, and then she says like, well, you too, Lana. She says, no, Kriegel hasn't. He says, well, what does she say? She says, just not in person or something like that. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
like well, not in person. Just like what?
They bring up that he's the clone in this one, which is funny.
Right.
True.
That's very true.
That's one of the last things we talked about.
My biggest Krieger laugh was when they asked if he had soup in the thing, and he goes, "Define soup."
It's so bad. It's so bad.
So gross.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. They're so good.
I watch this episode again.
I know, it's such a funny episode. It's so good.
It's good.
I also really loved when they were gonna clean up the piss with the sweater vest, and he goes, "It's cashmere," and he goes, "Oh shit, sorry, dude."
Lana, different rules.
Lana, it's cashmere. There are rules. It's so good. Yeah, and then them all laughing at, even though they're still stuck, them laughing at the 911 burn, like the 911 blocked his number. It's so good. This is such a funny episode. Oh man,
it is.
Oh, and of course, like one of the great Archer running jokes that they like ran into the ground and then kept like evolving it and kept bringing it back is phrasing, and I love that they keep making it more long-winded. Like he's like, a few things. One, we need to have a serious talk about bringing phrasing back into the picture. Like, you don't expect it at all. Like I didn't even remember what he was saying.
What the phrasing was. I literally rewound to see what the phrasing was. Oh, it's so funny. Oh,
yeah,
man.
a joke that literally began as a one-word thing. He just says phrasing. When somebody says something that like sounds dirty.
I think I'm assuming they just like got to the point where they realized they could insert that so often that they're like, we can't keep doing phrasing. Like we can't keep phrasing. But I was also funny though. There's also aspects of this episode that I just don't remember the surrounding context for. Like I do not remember about anything about the photocopy machine that like is a robot.
Yeah,
I do not remember that at all.
Wait, what was going on with the phone thing? Where there was an elevator phone and it was Archer? Because I thought for a second they were going to do like one of the voicemail gags. Which
I mean,
is like
I do think it's an allusion to that callback. I do think it's a callback and allusion to that, but I don't really understand the mechanics of how or why that worked the way it did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really don't. I don't know. Maybe they just were just like, who cares?
They like beat his ass for that. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, the end when
didn't remember that.
The end when when it opens and they're all naked.
Dude, and then Cyril just goes back to masturbating at the end. Dude, I couldn't believe that. So funny.
Oh my god. Oh, what a show. Yeah, can you imagine?
I would say the one thing that would keep this from being like, I mean, this is a top tier episode, but the one thing that would keep it from the top is that Mallory's not in it, except for like
I was thinking that too.
End. So there's
you're missing.
You don't have the queen, dynamic. You can't do it. Can't be number one.
Great choice. Great episode. Fun to do a bottle episode.
Yeah.
And also, and we covered Archer through season 5, right? So that was kind of perfect for us to cover.
The last thing we did
episode.
was nice.
Right.
All right, should we go on Archer? You guys, any other notes?
All your jokes. You run through all the good ones.
I did a lot of mine. I liked. I wrote a lot of the ones you said too, like getting phrasing back in the mix.
Mm-hmm. How about I liked Pam's Soviet Russia joke when she's like, Soviet Union toast takes picture of you, and then Lana just being like, doesn't even make sense. Like it's just a great Lana delivery.
They explain it to her like they're like, no, it does because.
This has just got me wanting to watch Archer. Like I really
Watch
just
Archer.
want
It
some
did that.
more
I'm not
eps.
gonna lie. It did that for me. Yeah, I'm
you know
not
what?
gonna lie.
I did like, okay, there's two other jokes that I wrote down from early in the episode that I forgot. I like the joke into the opening credits where he goes, "We're stuck at the top," and then it like creaks and it just goes, "I hope." And then I loved I loved Cyril talking about how he like goes down elevator mechanics rabbit holes, and Archer just goes, "I honestly have no response to that." Good stuff.
Oh, the one last one for me is when Archer is saying we got to get out of here because Carol's claustrophobic. She's like, I am, and then she like starts screaming. And he reminds her.
He reminds her. That's really funny.
I love all these characters so much.
Me
Good
too.
show.
So
What a
good.
good show.
Ray being fantastic when he wants him to like R2D2 into the phone because he's got the bionic leg.
Yeah, and that's right. And then they reference that fact that he's basically a cyborg.
Man, all three of these episodes were like reminded me why I love all three of these cartoons.
For
that,
sure.
like I always loved Archer, but like watching this, like I was like, fuck, I think I love Archer more than I thought I did. Because this shit was so funny. It's so good. I had a blast with this shit. It's great.
Oh man.
Glad it worked
All right,
out.
should we great app. Great
And
choices.
then it being
Great
called
3
Vision
apps.
Quest. Just because at the end
Because
she's like, we're gonna watch
At the
Vision
end!
Quest.
Yep.
It's so funny. It's
So
great.
All right, should we move on to Bojack?
Let's do it.
All right now.
Cool. All right. This is my favorite episode of Bojack. The Old Sugarman Place,
Wow.
season 4, episode 2. There's a lot of really great episodes of this show, but this one has always been my favorite. I chose it because I think it's very funny. I think there's a lot of really good jokes in here. But B, I think it really, it's kind of the most, to me, it feels the most like what this show is really about. Like for the first time to go back and see Beatrice's life and understand the traumas and things that happened to her that made her become so awful, which in turn, dictated how Bojack grew up and why he became the way he did. And then also for you to feel so much sympathy for her, even though before this you have just seen her as this horrible, awful old woman.
Right.
And it's really the first time you get to look at her life. I also just love the format. I think it's so creative in how it's going between the modern stuff with Bojack sort of squatting in this old house and it jumping backwards to showing what it was like in the 40s, all these different eras of Beatrice's life. And then I just think there's some really good, like Coleman Dingo is Eddie, Oscar nominee this year, and it's such a good performance as Eddie the Fly, the horse.
I didn't realize that was him. That's my man. I love bro. That's my man.
So good in this episode. Really just an incredible guest cast, because it's like, we don't get any of the main cast except for Diane and Bojack. But this one has Jane Krakowski from 30 Rock is Honey Sugarman. Lin-Manuel Miranda plays Cracker Jack, and Matthew Broderick plays Joseph Sugarman. Yeah,
and Paul Giamatti plays himself.
Wait, really? Dude, I like screamed when I saw the Paul Giamatti thing, because like obviously
so funny.
Giamatti on the mind in the Oscar race. Which oh my God, when this is out, we'll know if Paul Giamatti
we'll know if he won.
This matters to me more than anyone else. But
Dude, love Giamatti. I tweeted this after he won his Golden Globe, and they took that photo of him eating at In-N-Out with the Golden Globe, and I was like, oh my God, it's full circle. And I posted 4 pictures on Twitter. One is Bojack with his Golden Globe at a diner. One is Paul Giamatti cast as Bojack, Paul Giamatti as Bojack, and then Paul Giamatti sitting with his Golden Globe at In-N-Out. I'm like, it all came around.
Love, man.
So good.
I'm just happy for the Giamatti joke. And also, like, John, you had sent me a screenshot of something that we wrote where we put a Giamatti joke in one of our scripts.
Yeah. Tariq, I sent that to you too. You got to read that. you gotta check it out. Yeah,
It comes from such a place of love. I'm such a Giamatti fan.
I know. He's
so
great.
Right now,
honestly,
I'm eaten down like with him winning all these awards. Like I literally love Oppenheimer and Cillian Murphy so much, but I'll be pretty devastated if Giamatti doesn't get that gold.
Oh, it's gonna be
good in that.
That
shit is gas. That shit is gas. He's good in that shit. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, he's good. And you're like the second like super Giamatti person I know. My roommate Ed. he because me and him argue a lot because I'm from Jersey and he's from Connecticut. There's a lot more famous people that come from Jersey than Connecticut. So he holds on to who he has. And Paul Giamatti. Yeah, you guys, it's like Paul Giamatti and like Seth MacFarlane and like Norman Lear is like the three that he can.
You guys gotta listen to his Mark Maron, his recent Mark Maron.
I will.
Paul Giamatti's. It's amazing.
You know what's so funny is I've had a Giamatti sighting in person, and he.
Oh shit!
And it was weird. It was while I was in Denver for 2 days. And he was at this burger place by my hotel and it's funny because he also went to In-N-Out. He's famously loves burgers. And so it's so funny that my only sighting of him is him going to a burger place in a completely, we both live in LA and I saw him in Denver. That's funny.
So funny.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Love it. And I also just love how he is hamming up his Bojack performance in this much. It's so funny.
He's like crying, singing the Horseman around theme. It's the funniest shit ever.
I had no idea it was actually him. That makes it so much better.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's dude, because at first when I saw the joke, I was like, that's so stupid. He's like singing the song. But then when the episode ended and it just fucking plaster his name in the middle of the like guest star, I was like, no way.
It's so good. It's so funny. I like those gags too when like he's trying to pretend he's not Bojack to Tamara and Tamara at the thing, and it's just like, why would they get Paul Giamatti to play meaty roles like that one?
Like that.
Well, also the Tamara today joke that he does twice, right? And then it's just like no reaction.
It's so good. It's so good. Man. But yeah, I do like really what I like. This episode is very funny, but even like darkly funny before it gets just straight up dark at the end of the episode. But like everything Joseph Sugarman says as just like this horrible 40s like rich man is like what was maybe the worst line is like once they find Crackerjack, once Crackerjack has died, and they're like trying to find someone to blame, and he's like, if it's anyone's fault, it's the Jews for peeving off Hitler so bad. Like just the worst person imaginable.
There's I think it's him when they're leaving the house, and Beatrice doesn't want to leave the house. He says, "Don't worry, it'll always be here, just like polio and blackface." And
yes, he is just the worst, the worst. But it's like, it's really good insight into Beatrice's life. Like she is kind of forced into this box. And then also her mom perpetuates it too, because that's what she knows. You know, she's like, oh, you can't eat ice cream. You need a good girl's dessert. Like you can have a lemon with sugar on it. Like that's what you can eat. You can't eat. Yeah, it's like she tells her, oh, you can't do this. You'll rupture your uterus. Like she's just always telling Beatrice things she can't do, even though she's just a child. It's like it really gives insight into the way she was raised and into how rough that kind of a childhood can be. And then obviously the whole big thing is just the way their family just breaks once Crackerjack dies in the war. I love that
they really build it up. Crackerjack is he's like a good man. He's like holding that family together.
Yeah.
They really make you feel that for like the first half.
I like that casting too. I think Lin-Manuel's got that like kind of energy. And I liked him in that role. And then just like them singing "I Will Always Think of You" together, and it's just he's having so much fun with it. Yeah, he's just having fun. And then they have all of these just like horrifying foreshadows at the beginning when she goes, I've got half a mind to kiss you with that smart mouth. And he goes, well, that half you can keep. And pretty fucked up given the end of the episode.
Early on, her dad says, "Time Zero marches on."
Yes.
Uh,
I was thinking about this
comes back later.
today. It's interesting. So this episode's written by Kate Purdy, who is one of my favorite Bojack writers. And she also went on to co-create and write Undone on Amazon Prime, which is excellent.
Word.
And both this episode and her other episode this season is Time's Arrow. And they both feel like almost test runs for Undone because they both play with the perception of time so deeply. This one obviously showing events from the past and the future at the same time. And then having them sort of overlap at the end. And then in Time's Arrow, it's jumping in and out of place in time because it's showing it's basically Beatrice suffering from dementia and just jumping through different periods in her life. It's sort of a portrayal of that dementia sort of taking over her memories. And so that's like basically like how they kind of take that idea and run with it in Undone, which I actually still haven't watched season 2 of Undone. I really need to do that. I might binge that whole show again. Great show.
D'Angelo, hats off media. He just did that video where he ranked all the Amazon adult cartoons.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch that section because I was like, oh, I didn't watch season 2. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah,
but that was him. I don't think he does, because that was when I watched it. I was like, oh, so that's what this is. That sounds
dude, you gotta
cool
watch
as
it.
fuck.
It's crazy.
That sounds cool as fuck.
It's such a cool show. It is really awesome. One of my 2 favorite properties where they make Rosa Salazar animated real weird looking.
I look at her, I'm like, her eyes too small.
Make them big. Oh man. I really love the way they transition. Like one of my favorite sequences is it's really dark, but it's when Bojack, even though it's so funny with Giamatti doing the Bojack stuff, it's like in the context, Bojack is watching this fictionalized version of the last major event in his life where Sarah Lynn dies. He's watching how the world is going to be perceiving it, based on how this show comes out.
It's even worse now that the rest of the cartoon is out and like actually what happened.
Sure.
And like it's even worse.
I know. I mean, that's a lot of this show is like, oh, more context. Great.
Yeah.
But then it also, simultaneously so it's him mourning Sarah Lynn, and then simultaneously you see his family mourning the loss of Cracker Jack. It's really like the audience finding out that Cracker Jack is gone, and that Honey is desperate to come back to the lake house so they can find his blankie, like that's gonna help in any way, just like desperate to do anything because she's so completely lost control. And I do think that's like kind of what the tragedy of that character is like she already has so little control because of like the societal expectations of her at that point in her life. Like that's kind of like she is put into this box in this role and she has to do these things. And then it seems like the one thing in her family and life that gave her this sort of outlet to be herself was Cracker Jack, right? It's Cracker Jack and her like having fun at the piano, and even like even though he's jokingly doing it, Joseph Sugarman's kind of telling her off like the whole time, like oh, like you shouldn't be doing this, and he's like, we're having fun or whatever, and then so for her to lose that one outlet. And it's just got to feel like she has completely and entirely lost all control of anything she had in that life, and which obviously leads to that like bout of mania in the final sequence. I love this episode a lot, and my favorite. I love the duet. I love the song so much.
Oh yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
And I do like the idea that like, okay, so we get to see both time periods happening simultaneously, this overlap. But if you think about each individual time period, neither of these people have accompaniment. And it looks especially weird for Honey, who's just no piano and it's just singing. It's just singing. It's dark. Mikey, when's the last time have you watched all of the show, Mikey?
I have watched
most.
Don't hate me, but I literally just had the last leg of the final season.
So the last 8.
But yeah, I've sort of been like, at this point, I'd want to start from the beginning because I'd just be jumping back in. But this definitely made me want to do that. Like, definitely shot it up the list a little bit because, like, I do love this show, and I love that it like will do things like this and just have like have the characters just go through things like this where it just like breaks form, and like there's no like status quo with Bojack Horseman, which I do appreciate. Like, I love, you know, your Simpsons and stuff, you know, your sitcoms that have status quos. But I do love that Bojack Horseman, even though it's like about like a sitcom star, is like, it's almost like doing like a serialized single cam thing, you know, in animation, which is cool as hell. So yeah, I did appreciate watching this. It's interesting that you'd call it your favorite episode, though, which, I mean, I knew you picked it for a reason, and I was interested to hear it.
I don't know why. I mean, they're all so close. Like, there are some really good episodes of this show. Like, I feel like my top 10 is all just, they're all so good that it's like almost, you know, I feel like there's 2 episodes that are like widely cited as people's favorites. So I don't know, I'm being a little bit of a Bojack hipster, but I do just love this episode. But like the 2 that people cite are the second to last episode, View from Halfway Down, which is outstanding. And then Freakshiro, which is the monologue eulogy in season 5, which is excellent.
Right, yeah.
I like that the underwater one.
So good. I love the water. I love Fish Out of Water. Some of those drug trip ones, like, I mean, I feel like that was the first episode of season 1 really starts to like kind of set itself apart from other shows of this type pretty quickly. But the first time I watched it, I remember like getting more and more into it in the second half, but like Downer Ending, which is the first drug trip one, was when I was just like, oh, what the hell is this show? Like, holy crap. And then that episode obviously ending with the like him begging Diane to tell him he's a good person. Which is
it's
so dark. Man. So
you know which one
rough.
You know which one I really like that I don't see people talk about a lot? It's when Bojack finds out that, like, right after that like showcase, he finds out that they're doing an article on him, and he's like, what the fuck could it even be about? Like, he gets that call from you know, I
think that's one that Mikey hasn't seen, but yes, because that's in the back half of season 6. But that is a heavy episode.
That's one of my favorite ones. I love that one.
Really great. I think it's called Sunk Cost and all that. Good episode.
Word. I never knew the name. Oh, that name makes sense because of those stupid fucking reporters.
I love them so much, dude.
But
I guess you've seen them in one episode, Mikey. If you finished the first part of season 6, the last episode is Paget Brewster's warthog old-timey journalist who like talks in a transatlantic accent.
Nice.
She's great. She's so funny. Paige Sinclair.
Great name. Paige Sinclair.
She's so good. Okay, let's see. I'm going to look through my notes here. Tariq, what do you think about Old Sugarman Place? What are your thoughts on this one in general?
It's great. I remember watching this one like when it came out. This is around the time where I had a friend that I grew up with, and I told him, I said, you got to watch BoJack Horseman, but you can't call me until you finish it, until you get to the point where like the show is at that point, which was like it was right before this one came out. So
sure,
I was like, I can't talk to you until you get to a certain point, because I'm gonna say something that like might allude to something that happens later that you didn't even get to. And he would call me, like he would get to like the middle of season 2. He was like, man, can we please talk about it? I'm like, no, I can't talk to you yet. I was like, I can't. And I remember this one specifically because I just remember this was like, I had, in doing that, I had made him such a fan of the show that like, he like was calling me about this one before I even got to it. Like It was like around the time it came out, and like I was like, I didn't watch the new ones yet. He was like, hey man, I'm already on like number 3. But yeah, I love this one. It's great. One of the notes I did have that I wanted to bring up we talked about Family Guy before, and you have that video where you compare Family Guy and Bojack.
Right.
And he does something here that I feel like is part of what you talk about, which is when Eddie explicitly tells Bojack that he does not want to fly.
Yes.
Bojack still tries to manipulate the situation anyway by saying, "I thought you'd fly to try to save me, and in a way, I'd be saving you," which is such a fucking sitcom thing to think.
Totally. Yes. And that is, and then for there to be such like horrific personal consequences to Eddie's psyche for that, where he like accidentally subconsciously flies and he's just like, I choose not to fly out of like respect for my lost wife, you know?
Right.
And then for that ending, the ending where he flies him into the sky and then Bojack saves him and him crying that he doesn't want to live anymore. Oof. Oh man. Heavy.
So bad.
Heavy. Like once you get to the back the back part of this episode, it's so devastating. And then even like just Honey begging. Honey feels so out of control of her life, out of control of everything, that she's begging Joseph to like fix it. You know, back at that time, they fucking full on lobotomized her. It's so dark. It's so dark.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then obviously that, I mean, it's so haunting, that final scene where you know, and then Beatrice, you know, like even though Honey was still kind of perpetuating a lot of the things of the societal things that were putting Beatrice into like these boxes, she definitely like they had a real connection and they like she loved her mom. Like they had like they clearly had this like very strong mother-daughter relationship, at least that they could in that point. And then for her to walk in and just like see the husk of a person that her mom has become now. Oh man. Oh, so heavy. I just like, I think I love this episode because it does all of these cool things that the show is willing to do to play with formatting in, I think, a really successful way. I think just the subject matter represents kind of like some of the most heavy that this show ever deals with in such a delicate, well-handled way. And it's just like it's the core of like, it's the root, it's the source of where so much of this stuff in the show has come from, you know. It's and I just really like the way they turn your brain a little bit to all of a sudden think about Beatrice a little bit differently.
Right.
And yeah, I love it. I love it a lot. And I love that song so much. I sing that song a lot. It's stuck in my head a lot.
It's a good record.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, man, love this show. I'm really curious who of our guests, we've already had a guest choose some Bojack and we've talked about for Bojack, but I'm really curious how many people are going to come on and want to talk Bojack and what episodes they'll choose. That's another reason I chose this episode, is I know it's very popular and it is my favorite, but like someone's going to choose The View from Halfway Down. Someone's going to choose Free Churro. Someone's going to choose like, this is a popular one that maybe someone would choose, but it's not the episode that someone's immediately going to be like, that's the one I want to talk about. So
you got to claim
or
it.
maybe it is. Yeah. Who knows?
You never know.
Cool. You guys got any other thoughts on Old Sugarman Place or any of these episodes or the new format or our lives in general?
I think we did a bang up job giving them a comeback episode. I think they're gonna like this one.
I think so too. This is a fun ep. We go on our tangents. We talk about our lives. We talk about what we're watching, and we talk about 3 different cartoons. Really good one. Really fun one. This is great. So
and a Patreon preview.
That's
Three
right,
boys. This is
right.
how we do it.
This is and if you like this, if you like us talking about stuff and just kind of going on tangents and and just seeing where the conversation takes us, we've got so many Patreon episodes. So many. I think by the time this comes out, wait, how many do we have total? What are we at? Like 30? It might be 40
or something. Yeah, like 40.
So look forward to that. Check those out. $5 a month and you get a whole ass library. 40 hours. 40.
That's 40
to,
hours.
40 to 60 hours of extra cartoons that curse content.
Talking about movies.
That's right. Mostly movies. Have we?
Yeah.
Did we talk? We talked about. I guess we talked about That's My Bush. That's the only show
That's
we
My
talked
Bush.
about.
We did. Yeah, that's true.
I think people were mad about that one. Only because we kept hyping it up. We're like, oh, That's My Bush is so good. And then we watched it. And we were like, all right. Sorry, we recommended this.
I'm glad we watched it. I'm glad
I am too. I mean, I still thought it was really funny.
Yeah. It all started to make sense to me at the end when they were doing That's My Dick.
The sitcom stuff. Oh, That's My Dick. That's
right. My dick. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm all in when That's My Dick.
I do think in the same vein though, we should cover Ted. I think it'd be worth doing.
We should.
I'm sure Ted's gonna get a season 2. It was like the most popular show ever put on Peacock, or most popular original ever put on Peacock.
Love Peacock.
So I hope they do it. Also, like the animation on Ted looks so good. He just looks like a real teddy bear in that show.
Nice.
It's crazy.
He looks great.
And one of my favorite details is like he's always running and scampering around, and they always just kind of have him fall over because he's just like an awkward size little guy. It's pretty funny. Oh
so
man,
that's gonna happen.
Hell yeah. Keep an eye on the Patreon, and stay tuned next week. We will. I think we're gonna probably put some kind of little tease at the end of this for letting you guys know what kind of guests we might have. But we're gonna save that for a little teaser, and look forward to it. It's gonna be great. We talk about a lot of different shows. We got cool guests. We've recorded some really great stuff so far. We're having a lot of fun, and it feels like the ones we've recorded have all felt different. Like they felt different. They felt like very much our show, but they've all felt like we've gotten to go down different paths of types of conversations, interviews, which is really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to do more. I'm really excited for you guys to see what they are. And let us know below in the comments if this is on YouTube or, in the reviews, unless you don't like it. If you do, if you don't like it, don't let us know. But let us know.
Care. Move along, dude.
Let us know. But let us know if you're excited about the new format. What about the new format interests you most? And maybe just like what shows you are most interested to hear us talk about would also be interesting just to know, because we're going to be able to get to more things sooner. Granted, we won't have as much control over it, but we're going to be able to talk about a bigger variety of things, a wider variety, which has been kind of great so far. Even things that like we watched Harley Quinn for an episode, and I've barely watched that show, and I had so much fun watching it. It was, and that was another. Oh well, I won't tease. I almost teased what the episode was. Not telling you yet. Not telling you. Yeah. You guys got anything to say and or plug and or anything you're excited about with the new format?
I'm excited to see who will bring in. Who's gonna be like the one that we've been getting like normal stuff. Who's gonna be the one to be like, here's this episode of The Critic. Here's
who's gonna
Dilbert.
Freak it?
Dilbert, yeah.
I almost came in here with a baby blues, but I was like, that's too pretentious. There's no way I can do that.
Oh man, I'm really excited.
Me too.
Should be great. Should we close it out?
Yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
Let's get it.
Fuck yeah. And with that, I want to thank Carrie Feek for our artwork. I want to thank Jake Neutron for our theme song. I want to thank Toonrific Tariq for co-hosting the show with me. I want to thank Michael Yunez for producing and editing the show, guesting on this episode, and co-hosting all of our After Dark episodes with us. It's a fun trio, honestly. I do love
it. Is.
We have fun
time
on the Patreon. It's a good time. And what else do I say? Oh, I want to thank you, everyone who's listening, every single one of you. Thank you so much. Thanks to all our patrons, our cursed ones who are supporting us on the Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. We love you all so much. And also, thank you very much. Happy 50th episode. Happy 3-year anniversary.
Turn this shit off.